All right, y'all, we here. This is the full breakdown of my 2024 Doordash Wrapped, where I realized I spent $10,377 on one food service platform, delivery platform. I said I wasn't gonna do no PowerPoint. I swore up and down I was not gonna do no PowerPoint, but I did a PowerPoint and I got my notes and everything written down. I'm a yapper, so I gotta stay on focus, on task. So let's get into it. First, a little bit about me. A lot of y'all first introduction to me ever through TikTok was because of that video. And I do food content. So I am a 23-year-old woman. I know for some reason, a lot of y'all just did not know. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of grace, but I did say several times in the comments, I am a woman. So let's just stop this conversation here. She, her pronouns. Baby, since day one, it's been me. God put me on earth as a woman made in his liking, in his image. Speaking of God, God is my savior, first and foremost. Something about me, maybe why y'all don't understand my appearance, or sometimes you see me in my videos natural and comfortable in my skin, but I have PCOS. I've had it since I was 11. I've just informed you what it is. In this video, I'm not educating you. If you want more about it, I will educate you in another video, but you can go and look it up yourself. When I was around, not a lot of information. Now, it's like so much information. So PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Since y'all here, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, comment, share this video. What is my content? What are y'all about to be expecting? I'm dropping a calendar, baby, because I want y'all to know when to clock in over here, okay? I know this ain't like TikTok where y'all can just scroll and clock in with me. So I'm gonna get y'all a calendar. But my content is gonna be mukbang. My page is thinking and eating. So I'm gonna be putting out my thoughts during my mukbang. I do food reviews. You're gonna get a little bit of lifestyle because I do be doing stuff. I like to go out on dates. Me and my lady go out on dates quite often, actually. And I kind of bring y'all along with me. Gift giving. I'm a great gift giver in my opinion. I take the time to really think about my gifts. If you see any on my page, you know I do. So I give gift ideas. And y'all really gonna want to stick around because I got so much planned for Valentine's Day for the babies all the way on up to my lady. So yeah, make sure y'all tune in for that too. I do my random unboxings. I always shop for little random things. I'm gonna get that under control, but some things you gotta do to please yourself. And I like shopping random and buying my little random finds. Travel on my page, and you'll see family content. My family love to do stuff. We love to host. That's just us. So we do stuff all throughout the year. Something we got coming up that my auntie is planning is a Black family trivia night next month for Black History Month. So that's really exciting, and we're working on the menu now for that. So stay tuned. This is all the things to come. Now let's get into the breakdown. But first, I just want to put a disclaimer in here. Doordash is not responsible for how much I spent. That is their platform, their prices. I see a lot of discourse in the comments like, oh, they charge fees and da 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 da. I'm not one of them person who I'm arguing with you about your price. You provided a platform. This is how you can operate your platform dealing with these costs. I choose to engage. I choose to use it. Some of y'all choose not to. Some of us have had no opportunity outside of that to be able to get access to the things. So don't knock something because one, you don't see the value in it, or because you got caught up in it. I never once said DoorDash made me spend $10,377 on no food. Never once said that. I overindulged and was not monitoring my spending, point blank, period. This is a resource for many, so let's not go on a DoorDash bash because that's just what it is. As I go through this video, I will discuss some of the factors that probably went into me spending that much or contributed to me spending that much, but this is no excuse. Nothing I'm about to say is an excuse. Even when it comes down to the trigger warning, I do discuss mental health a little bit. Even when it does come down to that, it's no excuse. So we just gonna not try to go in the comments saying, oh, but no, none of that. What I did not appreciate, and we're going to touch on this a minute because I know y'all want me to just get to that, but I'm going to address everything first. The correlation of spending to death and health issues. I never once said I never once said nothing except for how much I spent. Never once said, I never gave any context out of that. So I'm not gonna lie, to go onto this lady page, and because, well, if you was bold enough to stitch it, I'm gonna be bold enough to put it. To go on your page and to see where you put that my family should have enough money. I mean, you hope that I have a life insurance plan so that my family doesn't have to beg for money to bury me. That was a bit much. Like, that was a bit much. And it brings me to the thing of social media in general. If the post is about one thing, why do y'all think personal attacks that had nothing to do with the video is okay, is appropriate? Let's stay on plot. Let's not lose the plot. We were talking about Doordash spending. A lot of y'all just isolated it to being Doordash instead of saying or realizing and saying, there's areas in my own personal life where I probably need to watch my spending habits too. Like to take this as an opportunity to drive it into your niche of insurance. Like, it was so many life insurance and all of that people under my thing. And I'm like, y'all barking up the wrong tree. I never once said that I was dumb. I never once said that I didn't make smart money decisions. I just said this was the dumb one. I pointed out a dumb one. Next. What do I do for a living? Because y'all just think I'm Richie Rich. Y'all think I was silver spoon fed. Or y'all think I'm broke poor. And I don't know. Like, some of y'all, I don't know. But let me give you a breakdown. I'm currently a full-time student. I'm in school for social work. Even with that, and this is just all to my 20-year-olds, whoever is something in school, whatever. I'm in school for social work right now. This is the third time I have changed my major, and I'm still undecided, and I'm about to get ready and graduate. So, yeah, but my degree is worth it, point blank, period. It's something I wanted, it's something I went after, so I'm figuring it out. I work a typical 9-to-5 job. I don't say too much about my job because some people kind of know where I work at. My FYP do be local, so I'm not saying too much of my job. I work a typical 9-to-5 job, though. I guarantee you, you can find any job almost and get paid the same if you have any type of experience that I do, or years of experience I do. But I do have additional income. I'm an academic assistant, aka adult tutor. So I make my income from that. That's pretty nice. I'm gonna say this now. If you can get into that niche and you can do it without harming the person that you're doing it for or the people that you're doing it for, get into it. Go on the Facebook marketing groups, go into the app GroupMe, search up these schools. Heck, a lot of teenagers are very forthgiving with the fact that they probably don't do their schoolwork. And I'm talking teenagers like 18, 19-year-olds in college and stuff like that. That's your target audience, the partiers on campus. Or if you live by a local campus, just put up your flyer and say, this is what I do, da-da-da, whatever. I'm a caterer. I just celebrated 10 years of owning a business. Of owning my catering business. I do meal preps, and baby, I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. I come from women of hustlers. My city is Detroit. Like, come on. That was a given. Y'all wanna know about my household? It's pretty much just me, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Me and my partner lived together from January to June. Yes, we were still like kind of, when she was over, of course, but from January to June, it was just pretty much me and my partner. That's the only people in the household. After that, it would pretty much still only be me and her when she would come. I host friends, family, and I cook for people. Like, I just like that. If I'm cooking dinner, and that brings me to that next point. I grew up in a big household, but I also grew up in a household where my mom, like, if she cooked or brought food, it was for like 9 people, and it only was like 4 of us that lived there. So I grew up with that mentality. I don't know how to get out of that mentality, because even when it did boil down to me and my mom, we still shopped huge. We still cooked huge. So I'm going to work on that this year, especially. But that's one of the things that does contribute into, you know, sometimes the higher grocery bills and the higher food bills. Um, without further ado, let's get into the breakdown. January, $895. I went to Myers 7 times. I went to Chipotle 3 times. I went Chick-fil-A 3 times. I went to Taco Bell 3 times. And I went to Brome Modern Eatery twice. I added in Brome Modern Eatery because although I did not eat there, you know, it was still the expense that I incurred. What I'm saying is that is somewhere I didn't eat at either time, but I still incurred the expense. I went to 17 different restaurants or stores, and it was 30 different orders that I made for the month. Most of y'all question why February was so low. It's only it's a shorter month regardless, even if it's a few days. Them few days make a difference. It was also my mom's birthday month, and I was focused on a birthday party for her. So that's just where my focus was at that point. And then it was also Valentine's Day, in a month. So it was just a lot going on. I was working a lot. It was a lot going on. So I was just like, I'm pretty sure I just was not ordering food. I just know I wasn't ordering food. Like, that's where my focus was. I was eating at Popeyes so much, I think this is when they came out with their bone-in wings. And oh my goodness, so good. Before we go into the next few months, because these next few months are about to get really high, a lot of people put them on taxes and say that it's tax season. I don't have any kids. I don't have to go as hard. I'm just playing. So I didn't like, tax season isn't like a big thing for me. I developed a weird food aversion. I was going to the doctors. I was trying to see what was wrong with me. Y'all, I did not figure this out until I literally had to strip everything like out of my diet, try everything. So that is what's about to take place starting in March. Like I said, I was trying to figure out foods to eat. So I was eating out, but that's why you see such a spike in grocery store runs. Because every day I'm trying to figure out something to eat. It was getting like really, really, when it first started, it was so bad. It felt like everything was an issue to eat. And nobody could help me out. And to this day, I still don't know what happened. I just completely switched things. Some things got easier to eat. I had to switch up how I bought food, like what food it was that I was buying, and the quality of it as well was playing a factor. Going into April, we're having a running list. Okay, I need y'all to carry all of the things I'm bringing up as we go out through the year. So, food aversion was starting around March. Now we're going into April. I quit my full-time job working in inventory and supply chain. If you want to know more about that, again, comment, different video. So this is me quitting my full-time job. Anytime I went to BJ's, I added it in because they were significant numbers that I spent at BJ's. If you know what BJ's is, it's just a wholesale store. I mean, if you don't know, it's just a wholesale store. May, I spent a total of $1,335.39. And that was, Fresh Time is a grocery store. And when I'm saying Fresh Time, I'm getting crab legs. I always buy my crab legs from Fresh Time. And then BJ's, I went twice, but I spent $300 total at BJ's. So that was a pretty significant amount, again, that I was spending at the grocery store. We're going into June. This is mental health, trigger warning. The depression started to kick in differently than I had ever experienced. And again, I already let y'all know, God is my savior. I was experiencing mental warfare. The battle of the mind is very real. So again, this is just another thing that's now an added layer on top of all of this. And so during this time where I am now experiencing, I would say like it's moved from like seasonal depression to like, oh no, I'm just depressed, or maybe you don't, but I'm just saying it was a difference and I could feel it. And so then on top of that, it's now like I have an idle mind because that even though I was working, that job that I had just left was a physical place I went to go to work. So it was a physically, mentally, I was going to a different place when I would go into that job. Now I am in no other place except for sitting still in everything. So that increased even more my it just made it easier to slide into this slope that I did, if that makes sense. June, we have $941.95. And quite frankly, I think the only reason why it even went down this much is, well, probably didn't stay as high in June, was because I was helping to send my, me and my cousin had sent the kiddos to Chicago. So during that time, I was still aware of like the responsibilities I had outside of just my home, but to send them on vacation. Because my babies is priority. My babies is priority no matter what. Going into July, I had stopped working completely and no income. Sort of. Going into July, school is essentially out. I don't really have too many clients I work with for schooling that are in school in July. So there's no payments that really come through July. If they've paid me already for the whole entire semester, or they've paid me for the whole entire year, typically there's no payments in July. So that cut out. I had bookings that were getting booked in July, but I could not count that as income in July nor spend because the bookings were not happening right away. So no income, and yet I still spent, you know, the number that I spent in July. And I'm referencing July because I want to just say it was in that moment that I realized it was but God's grace. He literally kept me through my ignorance. To go from the financial situation I was in, the amount of money that I brought from certain financial situations, to be depleted for 1 month was ignorance in my spending. And I want to make that very, very clear. And it was only God who made the way for July to be possible. So y'all might eat a little bit in that and be like, you spent all of this, but you had a rough month. Yeah, most of us do. Most of us do who are having spending problems like this. Most of us do who are young. I'm like I said, I'm 23. I'm 24 years old. I'm learning. Yes, did I have some examples of better spending habits? Yes, but did I not always have them directly in my day-to-day life? No. So, am I knowing better to do better? Yes. And that's how I'm gonna just touch on that. In the comments, it was very, I think, detrimental to be so nasty towards this topic, because what you did was discourage people in the comment section to go and figure this out for themselves. By trying to put me down, you discouraged other people in the comment section. I already did this, but if you really are so disgusted, if you really can't believe this is how people are doing, one, why don't you just offer us some advice, since you seem to have it so much together? There was so many people who were only criticizing but could not tell me one piece of advice, who just said, I don't have this savings, this savings, this savings. And I would text them back, so what should I be doing? Okay, so which investments should I make? Because if you're going to do criticism, at least have something followed up behind it to give reassurance. And that's what wasn't happening. But shout out to the ones who were genuinely like, okay, sweetheart, are you doing this? Okay, maybe this is what we could do. This is maybe the direction. And I could accept that. But to sit there and just say, dumb, 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 dumb. Okay, well, what is the purpose of that if you can't even offer no tip? You couldn't even get one tip. But God kept me, God's grace. From July, I told y'all all of that. Now we're going into August. And this is the point where I'm trying to put myself back together and get back to working, get back into the workforce. Like, I'm trying to literally muster up the strength at this point. So for August, I spent $698, and I spent a total of $150 at BJ's. I had 4 different Meyer orders, 2 different Popeyes orders, 2 different Wingstop orders, and 2 Chick-fil-A orders. Obviously, I was in the chicken mood all August. For September, I was back to a full-time job outside of the home where I was going into work physically. And I spent a total of $780. It wasn't too much spectacular going on in September. I don't feel like I really ate it anywhere crazy. Of course, I was ordering from Meyer. But this is just a shout out to some of the places I enjoyed in September. Baked Hamburgers in Farmington, the Blue Nile Ethiopian. I did not eat, but it was thoroughly enjoyed by my partner. Sukiho Thai. I tried to do Thai place in there. Thai basil rice was pretty good. And then I had the Mad Crab. They made me so mad with that order. If you've seen the video, you've seen the video. For the month of October, I was working long days, very long days. I have a lot of celebrations in October, a lot of different things that I like to gift for. Halloween is my partner's favorite time of the year, so I do try to do as much as I can to make it special. It is also her remission month, so I also do things to make that very special. It is my my youngest cousin, but like niece birthday, and yeah, so. And I had a little bit of a hosting that I did in October too. So just a lot going on. Celebrations for my aunt and my grandma, and I ordered stuff during that time. I ordered from Cordova 3 times. Cordova was hitting so hard in October. Oh my goodness. And the prices were tea. I went to Bellacino's twice, and both times I literally said I'm done ordering from Bellacino's unless it's from the Dearborn location. If you're from Michigan, you know. Well, I hope y'all know, because the other ones, and I'm gonna call out which one is horrible. Farmington, Bellacino's, you should be ashamed of yourself. Disgusting. Urban Grill, I went there twice. Oh, clock that. That was my new little spot in October. They was so good and consistent. Like, food can be simple, but if it's consistently good, that makes a difference. Y'all, I added this in because why did I spend $96 on freeze-dried candy? The things you do for the kids. The things you do for the kids. $108 at Lush. I spent $67 at Modern 7. $58 at Lou's Deli. $61 at Fresh Fish House. And these are all single visits. So that's why I added them in there. Just so y'all can see, like, sometimes I do spend a little bit of money at one time. I like variety sometimes when I order from places. So when I went to Fresh Fish House, there was 2 different fishes. I wanted hush puppies, fries, and chicken. Yeah, big bag activities for sure. Y'all clocked me in some of them. It is big bag activities over here. Have y'all not seen the page? Look at the page. November, I actually saved a lot this month. My typical eating out and food costs for November on average is about $3,000. We do a big restaurant style when it comes to our birthdays, anniversaries, everything. I'm trying to insert some pictures. We do it big in November, and we did not this year. So that month was such a huge saving. So I had my birthday dinner was from Valentino's Diner. First time I tried it, amazing, very good food. Shout out to them. If you're sick of Coney, try them out. I hosted a Friendsgiving in November, and I did most of my Friendsgiving food shopping through the app. So I really did really good in November. I only did 13 different restaurants or places and a total of 20 orders. For December, which I thought was going to be a lot more, but it was only $1,098.20. I was out of town for a few days. I was working more. I was eating more at lunch. I also wanted to point out from September to December, I did pick up lunch a lot more. So that's kind of where it dropped to, because I was getting lunch in person. But December, It was Christmas gift baskets. That was a chunk of this money. And I was just on the go a lot. So for my year, I spent $450 there. And at Dash Mart, I spent $200 there. So you see pretty much of that was like gift giving and stuff like that. Right here in the comments, what y'all think? What are y'all thinking? While I'm at to answer some of the questions that I constantly kept seeing in the comments, let me know what y'all thoughts are. Does it seem justified? Does this seem at all reasonable after everything? Does it make sense? Does it still not make sense? Do you relate in any type of way? The questions. Do I still buy groceries? Yes. Every month I would still probably spend around on average between $300 to $400 on groceries every single month. Do I know how to cook? Absolutely. Y'all already heard me earlier what my part-time jobs are. Why don't I cook them for myself? I do sometimes. I just don't. If I'm cooking a big meal, I don't want that after I'm done. If you a chef, and a lot of chefs did tap in, even if we cook a whole dinner, including for ourselves, we don't want that at the end of it. I could cook this whole meal and I want me a burrito, cheesy bean burrito from Taco Bell. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just how it is. A lot of y'all wanted to know, do I have insurance? Yes, I have health insurance and I have whole life insurance. That's it on that. Meal prep. Why don't I meal prep? Because I don't like tasting the same food consistently. It works for my clients and I do it for my clients, but even then I try to offer them as much variety and as much ways to switch it up every single day. I like having flavor. If I did meal prep for myself, it will look totally different, which is why I offer meal helpers, just to give you assistance throughout your week as you make full meals for yourself that are appeasing to you. That is something that I am going to be practicing more for myself, and it also gives me more content to promote my business, which I have not done as much. I have just relied more so on word of mouth because that is what carried me through my business for so many years. So I am going to be doing that, and I'll also be incorporating that into content on here as well. What's the plan next? Honestly, y'all, the real life plan, and I'm just going to speak on savings and dealing with this, is every month my goal is to now save that. I'm going to let y'all know the boomers ate a little bit. We very much do pay for convenience in my generation. We very much do pay the taxes and the fees. We very much do pay the upcharges. For some reason, we got it in our heads. But in the pockets, we could be doing stuff very differently. So I get that argument. But I want to also say, y'all, $10,377 would not have been enough for me to move into the home I desired to move into for my first home. And again, to each his own, but I do understand that if I had saved that amount of money and put it into a high yield savings account, account that would have been compounding interest over the next 3 years, then yeah, that probably would have been a sizable amount to have towards the home that I do desire to have one day. So I get it. I'm learning, but I get it. How much have I spent on Doordash? 0. My last order was at Taco Bell December 30th, and I am proud to say that I have not spent $1 on Doordash. Have I deleted the app? No. Am I going to delete the app? No. Again, this is still a resource. If you don't understand it, if you don't get it, I'm not going to convince you to it. And this is just to address the comments and give a little bit of insight. Do I belong on my 600-pound life? No, I do not. My health actually is intact outside of the issues dealing with PCOS. Even with them, it's pretty much under control. I have not had horrible spikes or horrible concerns from my primary care doctors or physicians or specialists. Even when I brought up these numbers and I discussed it with my aunt a little bit, she was like, Kayla, but do you know how much of that food you don't eat? How many times I've been around you, or if you came over to the house and eating and the food just doesn't get you. You take a few bites and that's it. Y'all, that is the truth. I don't eat all of that food. I remember one day I was looking through the DoorDashes and I remembered back to the day because I was like, how did I have 3 different DoorDashes in one day? I literally ate at El George's, White Castle, and Qdoba all in the same day. I ate at El George's earlier that morning. I'm guessing it wasn't fulfilling. Then I went ahead and I ate at Qdoba. I remember taking a video. I took one bite and I was just in bed the rest of the day. I woke up at 2 a.m. that morning craving something to eat. I mean, not craving something to eat. I was just hungry. And I remember ordering at White Castle, and that was actually the first thing I had eaten. And I didn't even finish all of that, but that's why I said it was deeper than just, I'm not just eating all this food. It was just a thing of an idle mind. I needed something to do. I needed to feel like I was spending money. I needed to feel like I was, you know, going to make myself eat. Some days, having a community was ways that I did even force myself to eat, to force myself to get up, to put, this camera was a lifesaver. And it could have aided to spending that much, but it was really a lifesaver because it forced me to get up and do something. It forced me to want to do something. So this is my official first YouTube video, many more to come in the 2024 Doordash breakdown. I hope that even if it helped a few people, which I know it did, from the DMs to the comments, that we make better decisions, but we also just become more aware of where our money is going. They always talk about how much money is power, and I don't believe money is power. I just believe money is access. So if we are not using our money to access or to go into the right things, then what is the purpose of having money? But all right, y'all, I'm out.